It's not every day that a billionaire's garage becomes the epicenter of decades-long speculation, internet forums, insider gossip, and whispered legends. But then again, Vince McMahon is not your everyday billionaire, the face of professional wrestling, the larger-than-life tycoon who turned a regional spectacle into a global entertainment empire, has always been shrouded in a peculiar mix of flamboyance and secrecy. And nowhere is that contrast more evident than in the mysterious, steel-doored garage nestled within his sprawling Greenwich, Connecticut estate. For years, the structure was barely mentioned in the public sphere, its towering doors, windowless exterior, and high-level security only fueling speculation. Stories swirled about what lay behind them. Was it a humble collection of classic sedans, or a vault of automotive and wrestling history, curated by one of the most influential men in sports entertainment? As stories emerged from former employees and rare estate visitors, the picture only became more intriguing. Descriptions pointed to a long, low building with steel roll-up doors and no access without Vince's direct permission. Only a select few, reportedly 3 trusted individuals, had keys. Through brief glimpses, witnesses saw canvas-covered shapes, some large and muscular, others long and sleek, hinting at performance vehicles or meticulously preserved relics. One longtime groundskeeper recounted seeing a transporter deliver what appeared to be a cherry-red classic American convertible, but he was instructed never to speak of it. The strict code of silence that surrounded the garage added weight to the mystery, especially in an age when celebrities flaunt their rides on social media or roll up to award shows in multi-million-dollar hypercars. Vince did none of that. He never posted, never boasted, never even acknowledged the rumors. That silence became deafening, and by the late 2010s, the garage had reached mythological status among wrestling fans and collectors alike. The mystery deepened in 2016 when a report emerged from a former WWE executive suggesting that Vince had quietly acquired 2 extremely rare collector cars at a high-profile auction, vehicles worth millions, allegedly purchased under an alias. No photos ever surfaced, but the rumor mill exploded. Reddit threads blossomed overnight, with amateur sleuths dissecting every aerial satellite photo of the estate, looking for clues. Wrestling forums debated endlessly. Was Vince hiding a prototype Lamborghini, a decommissioned WWE production truck turned into a personal command center? Or perhaps memorabilia-filled classics tied to WWE's outrageous on-screen antics, including the infamous limousine that exploded during a 2007 storyline? Though that particular car was confirmed to be a prop shell, the speculation persisted that Vince kept one of the actual production-used limos for posterity. Then came the turning point. In late 2024, someone finally stepped through those mysterious doors. The identity of the person remains undisclosed, but their findings began circulating quietly through trusted industry insiders, before leaking to a small circle of motorsport journalists. And what was revealed inside didn't just live, but to the hype it redefined it. Upon entry, the first sensation was physical, a sudden temperature shift as the thick metal doors sealed out the Connecticut heat, revealing a pristine climate-controlled interior. The space was striking, not in its chaos, but in its quiet sophistication. Polished concrete floors gleamed beneath the glow of industrial lighting. Rows of red tool cabinets lined the walls, alongside mounted memorabilia, old championship posters, early WWF merchandise, and framed scripts from iconic broadcasts. And then, there were the vehicles. Each one told a story. At the far end of the garage, partially obscured by a dusted canvas, stood a black Lincoln Town car. On its own, it might have gone unnoticed, but this wasn't just any town car. It was confirmed through vehicle records and former WWE prop team sources to be one of the very sedans used in multiple televised segments during the Attitude and Ruthless Aggression eras, while not the exact limo detonated in the infamous Vince McMahon death storyline of 2007. This one had been part of the production fleet and was reportedly Vince's personal choice for certain dramatic arrivals and exits. Inside, the leather interior showed signs of gentle aging but had been carefully preserved. Above the glove compartment, a discreet metallic plaque bore the engraving Monday Night Raw Legacy Series. This was more than a car, it was a chapter of televised history, one Vince had chosen to keep close, and that was just the beginning. From European supercars with 0 mileage to American muscle classics gleaming like they had just rolled off the showroom floor, the inventory revealed a man obsessed not with status symbols, but with legacy machines that represented power, with performance and spectacle, just like the empire he built. Every car had a reason to be there, each selected not for show but for what it meant to him personally. Together, they didn't just form a collection, they formed a narrative. One that blurred the lines between Vince McMahon, the billionaire, Vince McMahon, the performer, and Vince McMahon, the myth. And now that the doors have been opened, the world will never look at him or his garage the same way again. The moment details of Vince McMahon's private garage surfaced, the internet erupted with stunned fascination. What had long been whispered about in fan forums and speculative threads suddenly materialized in vivid, almost cinematic clarity. A collection of ultra-rare high-performance vehicles that not only reflected wealth, but revealed layers of Vince McMahon the public had rarely glimpsed. This wasn't just about cars, it was about legacy, precision, and a level of personal curation that bordered on obsessive. Images of the silver Rolls-Royce Phantom, the fire-red 1958 Corvette Stingray, the brutal yellow Lamborghini Aventador, and the blacked-out chrome-accented SL600 flooded social media. YouTube creators began frame-by-frame breakdowns of every angle captured, pointing out custom features and drawing connections to Vince's public persona and private control. Reddit threads exploded with thousands of comments, some from car experts, others from longtime WWE fans, each dissecting the symbolism of the garage's layout, the silence around it for so many years, and the sharp contrast between the spectacle of Vince's on-screen character and the calculated, curated quiet of this hidden automotive sanctuary. But beyond the immediate fascination came a storm of deeper questions, ones that went far beyond the horsepower figures and chrome detailing. Chief among them, what happens now? As images of the collection circulated, fans began to zero in on a piece of wrestling history that may still be hiding in plain sight. Whispers grew louder about the infamous Corvette from the 1998 segment where Stone Cold Steve Austin filled McMahon's car with some legendary WWE moment burned into the minds of Attitude Era fans. Could it be that the same car, or perhaps the real one used in the exterior promotional shots, was sitting in this very garage? Some insiders believe so. While the Corvette used in the Destruction segment was reportedly a hollow shell prepped to be ruined for television, several behind-the-scenes photos show a near-identical 1958 Stingray parked off-camera during the lead-up to the scene. If Vince did in fact preserve the original show car or even both versions, the potential for a full restoration, a tribute display, or a documentary segment is enormous. It would not only stir nostalgia but further elevate the vehicle as a symbol of wrestling's most rebellious and chaotic era. As speculation deepens, fans and former WWE talent have begun suggesting that this garage might be the tip of the iceberg. Could Vince be preparing for something bigger, a limited documentary, a personal museum for high-profile guests, or even a one-time streaming special showcasing the full extent of his private automotive and lifestyle collection? One former WWE producer anonymously hinted that conversations about such a project had happened in the past but were always dismissed by Vince, who famously said, "I'm not a reality show." But with the narrative now public, the garage exposed, and the mystique only intensifying, the timing may finally be right. Platforms like Netflix or Peacock could easily turn a well-produced deep dive into Vince's secret world into a viral, culturally significant moment. There is, after all, more demand than ever for stories that peel back the curtain on powerful figures, and Vince's life marked by contradiction, obsession, and legacy fits the bill perfectly. What makes the entire reveal so impactful is not just the cars themselves, but what they say about the man who collected them. For decades, Vince McMahon has defined himself through spectacle, brash confidence, and ruthless business moves. He strutted into arenas to theme music that declared no chance in hell, feuded with Stone Cold in wrestling's most lucrative era, and testified before Congress with the same steel-jawed defiance he showed in boardrooms. But none of that bravado is visible in the garage. There are no championship belts framed on the walls, no oversized portraits, no signs of WWE branding anywhere. It's not a wrestling shrine, it's a personal vault. Each car is a chapter in a private story. The Rolls-Royce Phantom representing control, power, and wealth earned over decades. The 1958 Corvette embodying rebellion, Americana, and Vince's own rise from nothing. The Aventador echoing aggression and loud dominance. And the Audi R8 signaling precision and modernity. Even the SL600 blacked out and custom-tuned, whispers of stealth power. They're not trophies, they're anchors. Fixed points of identity, in a world that Vince spent a lifetime choreographing, scripting, and ultimately mastering. And now, as Vince moves into the twilight of his career, with power slowly shifting within WWE and the media landscape evolving, this garage takes on new weight. It's not just a symbol of wealth, it's a testament to consistency. While wrestling changed hands, ratings rose and fell, stars came and went. These machines remained exactly as they were placed, clean, quiet, perfectly positioned. They didn't need to be driven daily or flaunted on social media to have value. Their power was in their permanence. In a life of staged conflict and constant reinvention, this was the one arena Vince never had to script because the statement had already been made. So now the world is watching, wondering if Vince kept this garage hidden for all these years. What else is there? What haven't we seen? What other artifacts, relics, or memories has he locked away from the spotlight? And most importantly, will we ever get to see them? Whether through a carefully orchestrated reveal, a limited streaming series, or a private viewing for VIP guests, one thing is certain. This garage has changed how people see Vince McMahon, not just as a mogul or a performer, but as a collector, a curator, and a man deeply invested in the legacy he leaves behind. The story has shifted from what Vince did in the ring to what he preserved behind the scenes, and in a world where attention is fleeting and fame is disposable, Vince may have quietly built something that